When you open any app on Android phone, you may see images, texts, or buttons. These components are called views. For example, here in the YouTube app, you can see a button just like this, or you can see an image just like this, or you can see some texts like this, or this, or this, and so on. So, what are the views? View may be defined as the base class for widgets which are used to create interactive UI components. These components, which are, as we said, maybe a text view or a button or an image view. There is also something called view groups. View groups is a subclass of view and provides invisible container that holds other views or other view groups and define their layouts and properties. View groups may be considered as parents. That contains children views inside it. Let's see this XML visualizer. As we can see, it contains a linear layout and a text view. Linear layout is a parent view or a view group, as we called it earlier. So let's talk first about the XML syntax. XML syntax are the rules that defines what valid XML code is. So if there is any error in this syntax, then the code is wrong. So any XML tag must start with open angle bracket, just right here, then the view name or the view group name, then some lines that are called attributes, then a closed bracket, or a slash, then a closing angle bracket. Here we can see that the linear layout is starting right here, and we can see there another line contains that linear layout. This is called as a closing tag. So the linear layout, which starts right here and ends right there, we can call it a separate, or it uses a separate opening and separate closing tag. That is separate opening here, and this is a separate closing tag. Why is that text view, which starts right here and ends right there, we can call it a self-closing tag, because it opens and ended with the same block. So as we can see here, these lines, just like this, Android text equals hi there. This line is called an attribute. This attribute, or any attribute line, contains attribute name on the left hand side and attribute value on the right hand side, with an equal sign in between. These attributes defines the behavior of the text view on the screen. So here is a text view as you can see. So that text view, let's try to change any values here, like the text value. What will happen in the XML visualizer when we change this? Let's say hello. As we can see, the text right there, it changes with to match the same text we wrote in the XML. We can change it again. Let's say good morning. As you can see, the text changes on the screen. So from this we can know that the Android text equals the value of the attribute. It is responsible for changing that text appears on the text view on the screen. What is this layout width and layout height? Layout width, it defines the width of the text starting from right there to right there. So what if we change it to match parent? As you can see, the text starting from here to there, so it matches the screen. Also the height, well, I'll just change the color so it can be appeared. So small visual. Okay. So what if we change the height? The height will be responsible for changing the height of the text view. As you can see here, if I made it match parent, so the text fills the screen right now. So as we saw, the Android layout height attribute, it's responsible for the height of the attribute of the text view. But the layout width attribute, it's responsible to the width of the attribute. Okay, what is this text size? Well, from the name, it seems to be changing the size of the text. Here we go, just made 20 sp, and we see that the text became smaller, or maybe 50 sp, and we see it became bigger. Font family, it's responsible of the shape of the text. Text color, it changes the color of the text. We can change it. So it became white right there. We can change this, and here now it's more visual. What is this padding? Padding, well, it adds a space between the start of the text view itself and the start of the text. So if we made this padding, we'll just change the text size first to become smaller. Okay, if we change this padding to a larger padding like 30 dB, so as we see, the text became further from the start of the text view. So this black box is the text view, while the text is this. If we made it like 10, so it became nearer to the edge. There is also an attribute named margin, layout margin. So as we see, what's the difference between the layout margin and the padding? Layout margin, it adds a space between the text view from outside and the parent of it from the outside of it. While padding, well, it adds a distance between the text itself and the edge of the text view. Okay, so we have seen the text view. Button, here is the button. Well, button almost is the same like text view, but the button handles the user clicks. So that is the main difference between the text view and the button. While the button have also text color attribute, background attribute, padding attribute. We can add also a margin attribute, also layout width, layout height, text size, and text. So let's talk about the image view. Image view is a container that contains an image. In order to use it, we have to put images inside the app. So we use this Android source attribute. This is the one that brings the picture we want to, or the image we want to show on the screen from the drawable folder. We will talk about that later, maybe. So it can appear on the screen. It also contains the layout width and the layout height, and it also contains a scale type attribute. What is this scale type? Well, this scale type, it's responsible for the scale of the image. As we see, when we change it to center, it centered the whole image at the center of the screen, but the edges are not filled with it. So center crop, well, it stretches the image and crops the edges of it so it fits the whole screen size. Also it contains padding and layout margin. So if we add here layout margin, we see that the image, well, it moved from the start of the parent by 20 dB. Well, I hope you can understand this, and thanks.